This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Vikes! Hey, what up? 9 to noon. Welcome back. It's Vikes Bites, and Vikes Bites is always presented by Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef.
Spearfish.
You can shop online. Box of meat shows up at your doorstep.
Box of meat.
Local Coburn's and Kowalski's locations, your local co-ops. They're proud sponsors of Gopher's Athletics. Players in maroon and gold actually eating Thousand Hills' delicious, nutrient-dense beef on their training table. Check it out, Thousand Hills.
That talk back that pressed me a little bit.
Yeah.
Just quick twitch. Philadelphia, Vikings, McCarthy and Wentz both healthy.
I think it's Wentz.
But is that what you want it to be? I'm not asking for a prediction.
Want.
Yeah, see, the want part for me, or what I think is right and just, I can't get there simply because I just don't know enough about the whole thing and like the dedication to the McCarthy plan, which is a dedicated plan. But like I said, does it have to start in that one?
Well, my want is that McCarthy is healthy. McCarthy is ready to work from a platform to build from, and we can finally get to see him. That's my want, and that's going to remain that while I continue to root and appreciate what Carson's bringing.
Yeah.
But the key for me, and while none of it, to that talkbacker's point, I do agree, McConnell's offered nothing definitive on it, but there's so much that you can't be definitive on in terms of the health of the O-line, health of the kid. Where I'm going with this now, and that's why I was going more predictive than what I want, is that O'Connell from the beginning, until the kid QB is going through full weeks of practice or a full week of practice, that the rhythm is good and that I believe I can put him in a position to play his best and that he's ready to do so.
Yep.
You know, that's going to be part of the recovery conversation, which is not definitive.
Yep.
Then that's what leads me down a road of he was unable to really get a ton of quality reps in practice in London this week. You do have the bye, so you're going to be messing around a little bit on the field and you're going to find some stuff. But to then just jump in, he's fully healthy, fully practicing into the Philly game, I have a hard time believing that at this particular point. So I think he's mum on it because it provides him flexibility because of this crazy turnstile affair we've seen at the offensive line, because while Carson Wentz has not, quote unquote, lit it up or gone lights out per se, he's made mistakes along the way. He's also provided that poise and that calm at that spot. So for me, when the kid is fully healthy and he's fully practicing, best of luck to Carson Wentz. I need to see number 9 in there.
That and I love how you laid that out. I don't know if after San Francisco beat the LA Rams, it was an upset too at SoFi from a point spread standpoint.
Are you kidding me, Mac Jones, by the way?
Yeah. Remember what his real first name is? McCorkle.
Is it McCorkle?
Remember, he's McCorkle.
That's right, McCorkle Jones.
Hey, it's McCorkle. So McCorkle, goes lights out.
It's like part of a Sherlock Holmes mystery.
And I don't
McCorkle.
I don't recall anybody asking Carson this, and if they have, I've missed it. But McCorkle was asked after the game because Purdy, with a toe, played.
Yeah,
did his best, but his best was second best. Sat out, McCorkle plays, McCorkle goes lights out.
I saw that quote you're talking about, yeah.
I mean, how about that thing? I mean, that is so 1 or 2 of 10 of what everybody in this world says about situations like that. He's pushed on it, and he's like, I was brought in here to be Brock Purdy's backup. And if, I'm paraphrasing, and if Next Level Shanny believes it's Brock's ready to play, well, I'm his backup.
Yeah.
So...
And he even went on to praise Brock that he tried to go and couldn't, understands the physical nature of the game, and he's working through a lot, but he's the guy, yeah.
Carson Wentz is that guy. Carson is that guy because that is the right, authentic, thy, not I answer. I was brought in here to back up the kid.
Yep.
If they feel the kid's ready to go, I'm the backup, and I'm here to help him the best I can. But if you need a little 9 for 9 to win the game to the guy going from the outhouse to the penthouse, I'm your hucklebearer.
Well, I think, and I didn't hear his entire presser. I was living in clips like I guess many of us do on social media.
Was Fan Line long yesterday?
It was long, yeah.
Yeah, because I listened early, and then, just it's so long to get everywhere in London. It takes so long. And then we get to Stansted. That's the airport from which we departed. I'm in this customs line. I'm like, hey, I'm going to listen to Fan, or I'm going to get to the listen line or the free iHeart audio app and see what's going on. And I think it was Ron talking about a brief encounter he had with Quinshawn Judkins and pretty much taught him everything he knew about running the ball. Ron, I'm just kidding. Hopefully you smiled. But you guys were still on. I'm like, damn, it's these boys are going long on Fan Line.
Well, there was a lot to break down, and it is into the bye week, so a couple of weeks. And this quarterback conversation, it was part of the kind of dominating point, at least for a stretch.
Yeah.
Where I kind of put it to bed, Carson Wentz said something, I think, very similar to what you were talking about with Mac or McCorkle, though, where it was just, well, I think he sidestepped it where he's like,
well, why don't you just stop? Let's just play back the entire press conference at 10:33, then replay it at 11:33 for those who missed it, and then we can all hear it properly for talkbacks tomorrow for the con.
I think his was, I've spent so many years looking forward. I'm not doing that anymore. That I'm just living in this moment.
My man.
Is kind of what he said.
Yeah,
he's really relishing and having a blast with this opportunity, however short-lived or long-lived it'll be.
Man, I want you to meet him. I'm gonna, when we get back to the Tuesdays at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, I'm going to work hard with Spearfish and that staff to see if we can get Carson to stop by. If
only he can do a little drive-by
for 6 to 8 minutes to sit. You'll just love him. He grew up listening to the Fan in Bismarck, and he's like one of those hockey guys we come across at Vox in the Box, where it's like, hey, why is that guy staring at us like this? Oh, it's because when he was 7 and his dad was driving him to hockey, he was listening to Vikings games on the radio or listening to KFAN.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And Carson's one of them, man. He's just so genuine. You'll absolutely love him. McCarthy is too. McCarthy, you haven't met JJ yet, have you?
I haven't met JJ.
You know what I think we're going to do is we're going to be at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center a week from Tuesday.
A little QB covenant?
Yeah. Let's. I'm going to have Spearfish.
Can we get Brosmer in there too?
Yeah, we're going to get all 3 of them together. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to have you cut it up and we're individually going to replay all of them.
Oh, I love that idea.
The very next day, 9:20, 9:35, and 10:03, and I'm going to tweet about it.
Vikes Bites. Did you want to put a bow on what you teased last segment? A favorite play from yesterday.
Vikes Bites. Well, the analyst is around the corner, so let's include him in the mix because I know he's listening right now. You have your favorite play.
I do,
because you told me off air. I have my favorite play, and I haven't told people what it was, but I've said I have one on air. And we'll see what the analyst has to say about a favorite play from yesterday, because my play is of the quirky nature.
Okay.
But it's not Akers throwing to Oliver. Now that thing bears conversation too, because again, when you're embedded with that covenant the way we were for as long as we were, just some of the greatest conversations privately, with the trust tree involved that maybe I've ever had in a quarter century calling games for this team. But like that Carson Schlesinger. So I probably went to that all 22 True Media thing, laying in my bed 15 times to memorize numbers and body types. And man, I watched so much Brown stuff, and just because really at times there was nothing to do. And if there was time to do it, it was hard to get there.
Well, and they got rookies all over the place trying to make plays.
Well, this Schlesinger, so I'm going to be an elite football mind. So I'm going to watch him. I'm going to go over to the facility and formulate an opinion to somebody. And I did. And 2 people basically looked at me and said the same thing. Nice player, fast, quite good against the run. Next guy. Fast, pretty good against the run. Nobody talked about his pass coverage. As Jim Schwartz, defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns, learned with, I think he's 49, biting on that Akers wildcat to the right. Ooh. Oh, did that rookie take an L on that play? Oliver was his. And that's why it was wide open.
Yeah.
So you just learn little things like that we think are cool, and they factor into favorite plays. But
well, it's probably
that's not my favorite play.
Do you think? I mean, of all the things,
I've been waiting for that for 3 years, by the way.
Well, and that's what I was curious about. Like, of course, Aaron Jones goes to IR. Mm-hmm. We need help at the running back spot until 3-3, and Showtime is back in the mix.
Here comes Showtime.
It feels like at least half the reason that KO brought Cam Akers back is because he's had this play sitting. He had to dust it off, but he's like, at some point,
since they were together with the Rams,
I swear to you, Cam, I've been promising this to you, and you've been promising this to me for half a decade.
Yeah,
we're gonna pay this thing off at some point.
Yeah,
and we got it in London yesterday.
Well, God's cartoon character, me. All you got to do 3 years ago is say at one time, go to YouTube and watch Cam Akers' passing montage at Florida State. Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah. So I've watched it 3 times over 3 years. So that's why I've had memorized since then. He was 5 of 8 for 97 yards passing at Florida State.
What?
And that was the Vikings' first running back passing touchdown since 2008, Chester Taylor to Visante Shenko at New Orleans. I've had it memorized for a long time, and they finally did it. But it's not my favorite play. We will share what our favorite plays from yesterday were when we return. But first,
The Fan, along with 2 men in a junk truck, they want to give you a chance to win some bonus bucks with the National Cash Contest. Go to KFAN.com, enter the keyword bills. You might win $1,000 and pay some bills with the keyword bills at KFAN.com.
Pete Bercich, analyst for the Minnesota Vikings Audio Network, was in Dublin at Croke Park and in London at Hanbury Manor. And he, Chris Hockey, and yours truly spent a lot of time together last week and really, really enjoyed it. The bonding of people we've known. We've known each other for quite some time, but, you know, when you're embedded, it just goes to a new level. And the analyst joins us now. What's going on there, Pete?
Not much. I mean, we got to see a horse literally blow up. It was amazing.
And when that horse fell, and we all had several pounds on it to win, and and it's winning by 7, and we're 50 yards from the wire, and it falls. That I've seen a lot. Probably called 33,000 races in my life. Can't say I've ever seen that one. Pete, by the way, as I put on Twitter last night at about 2:30 or this morning, I mean, it was the line of the trip, bro. I mean, we're all tired. We can't get comfortable in our seats. The flights, when the flight attendant came on and said this is a 9-hour, 3-minute flight, I was waiting for the punchline. I didn't get the math because it was 6:20 to Dublin, an hour 10 from Dublin to London. So you have that thing up there and you don't have 9. And I'm like, okay, so maybe we're, as we could tell by the moderate to severe chop, yes, we were flying into a pretty strong headwind, specifically over the Atlantic. But, I mean, that sucker added like 2 hours to it. I was like, where's the punchline on this 9-hour, 3-minute ordeal? So it's all quiet. People are tired, getting their bags and, from the overhead and stuff like that. And Bercich, sitting back in his chair, just deadpans. I may never get on an airplane again.
I always loved that one.
It's one of the great.
It was epic. I mean, it was a full moon, so you could see out the window. I had a window seat.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, it's like the Atlantic Ocean just kept going.
I know.
And going. Right? And then you finally get over land, and you're like, oh, great, I'm in Nova Scotia, Canada. Great. We only got like 6 hours to go. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Let's pay something off that Nordo and I just casually out of nowhere kind of threw into the set list, and it involves yesterday's game, where there's a play from yesterday that I've watched back a few times now because on a 9-hour, 3-minute flight with Wi-Fi available for 2.5 hours of it, still had the opportunity to look at every box score 3 times. Watch every highlight from every game 2 times. And so there were a lot of interesting things that transpired yesterday. But from our game, if you were to identify one play, a single play from the game that, you're an elite football mind, quick twitch, it was your favorite play, what would it be?
Oh my God, my favorite. That's a tough one.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just saying some of those throws, the rapport that Wentz and Justin Jefferson had yesterday, we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so that
a couple of those throws. I don't know. I mean, that's something that really stands out in my mind.
So like the Jefferson salad and getting to the croutons and the cucumbers and then getting to the baby carrots and all that. Okay, I'm with you on that. What about you, Norda?
Yeah, I was going to go the Justin Jefferson route as well. Sadly, it ended in the missed field goal that hit a wire that everyone missed and probably should have gotten a second chance, the kid kicker from 51. But that 38-yard pass where Justin School is 1v1, there's no tight end chipping, there's no motioning in. Although I thought it was really cool. You saw it a bunch yesterday where CJ Ham would start out wide or almost in the slot as a receiver. You'd pre-snap motion him, maybe Josh Oliver inside. And then in the end, they're chipping on these guys. Justin School, 1v1 versus Myles Garrett, wins the rep. Carson Wentz does not get jittery, does not anticipate a rush, stands in the pocket and fires over the middle to Jefferson for 38. He misses a tackle and adds on another few yards in the mix. But that was one of my favorite plays, just encompassing some of the moments and maybe some of the chemistry that you were talking about, Pete, the cohesion. Carson Wentz really dialing in on getting 18 the ball.
All right, so let's pay off the Justin Jefferson related trifecta, because my favorite play involves Justin Jefferson. And Pete did a really good job. So did Ben Lieber, because Ben saw it before we did and then shared it with us. It was when Jefferson motioned to the backfield. He was the tailback, offset eye right with Mason in front of him, I believe. And Darrisaw was the right tackle, which I didn't see live during the call. And then the play they unfurled off of it, knowing the rookie Schlesinger, had some problems in the pass coverage game. So do some of these Browns linebackers. And the way O'Connell just absolutely with a gotcha on Schwartz and the Browns defense. That play with Jefferson in the backfield, I love that play. It was my favorite, Pete.
Yeah. You have to come away being happy with the game planning side of things, and again, this goes to when you know certain guys are going to be out and you have time to game plan around it. You can do some things, and that's evident on the first drive of the game and the first drive of the second half. Right? There were just things put together. The Cam Akers throw, they had a plan. And they went out and they executed it. So I think that part is impressive. I mean, to be missing three starters on the offensive line and knowing it, and we knew it all week long. They had time to put a plan together that would work against the number one defense in the league, giving up 222 yards a game, which, by the way, I think we ended up with 349 or somewhere near 350 altogether. So to put up minus the 2 turnovers, this game may have been and probably would have been quite a bit different. So minus those mistakes and the big throw, I think it was to Justin that was taken away because of penalty, or the Josh Oliver play. I can't remember off the top of my head, but minus those mistakes, this could have been a completely different football game. So I thought the level of planning and execution, offensively especially, was excellent. Defensively, I'm just very impressed with Quinshon Judkins, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
The kid's good. He's a good football player, man. And the starts and stops and his ability to read, and he's a tough kid to tackle. And, we missed a couple, kind of safety or outlet type tackles on the outside with our cornerbacks, and those led to big runs. And, again, defensively, not too bad. Good enough. They didn't get to 20, and that was it.
Hey, Pete, I'm glad you mentioned Judkins, because I, like you, was really impressed by him, but I kind of looking at it from our defense's side of things. I've been asked this a lot, and I just like your take on it. Hargrave and Allen in the middle. from a tackling perspective. Is there anything that you're seeing where the productivity of the pass rush is the W? That's the plus side of the equation. But a lot of people just kind of summing up through 5 games, watching whether it was Bijan week 2, struggle with the run again week 4 against the Steelers with Gainwell. And then we saw it a bit yesterday that limited our ability to feast on this rookie Dylan Gabriel. Just couldn't stop Judkins at times. Is there anything you've seen defensively where in the bye coming out of it, whether it's getting healthy with Van Ginkel or are we needing more from that mix on the defensive interior?
Yeah, that's something that's I'm hoping or planning on taking a look at, because just off the top of my head or watching it, there's a little bit that the Steelers took advantage of us a little bit, I think, off tackled on an outside type of a play, and then creating space in between our defensive tackle and our outside linebackers, right? And then Cleveland, it was, I don't want to call it a cutback, but that's where Judkins was so unique in. He's taking this football and he's heading north and south at the mesh point. Like, he's heading north and south, and then boom, he would literally just jump cut or stop and then cut that thing back. And it was putting the backside defensive tackle in a jam, because he's trying to hold off from getting cut off by the offensive tackle, but at the same time, if he goes into that, if he crashes too much, Judkins is cutting it outside, and if he doesn't collapse himself in there, then Judkins can just take that thing north and south. So I think what they did is it was the execution of it is what matters, and why it's so different. That's why I'm so impressed again with Judkins, is they were able to kind of isolate the backside tackle and make some big plays. And what was interesting was toward the end of the game, when we knew they were going to run, we were able to do some stunts, send guys underneath, crash Jonathan Grenard, and those things really worked. So it's not that we don't have an adjustment to it per se. It's just a matter of, I think they kind of got us in a way that needs to be addressed, either, in one way or another. I don't know if every team can execute that and pull that off, but, tip of the cap to the Cleveland Browns and the Steelers is that they both, typical AFC North, they both found kind of a way to run on us. And again, I got to go look back and to see, is it a personnel thing? Is somebody just getting destroyed off the line of scrimmage? I don't necessarily think that's the case.
Right.
Per se. I think it's a tweak that technique-wise or alignment-wise or something that the defense is going to have to do to address that. But then again, when our offense is where it's supposed to be, we're putting up points, right? Teams that right now have the patience and the time and the scoreboard to be able to run the football. You look at the teams that we have coming up, I don't know if we're going to see that as much. We're going to start seeing some really good quarterbacks here pretty soon, and they're going to want to throw the football. So I think that part of the defense is really going to get flipped. Right now, we're a great pass defense and run defense. We're struggling. I see that flipping just out of the fact of the teams that we play coming up.
Very well laid out, Pete Bercich.
The analyst.
The Vikings win despite being -2 in the turnover differential, -2 in the take-give. Teams that are -2 generally win games about 15 to 20% of the time. The Vikings overcame that. Carson Wentz, 9 of 9 on the game-winning drive, including the final 3 to Jordan Addison. The veteran was at his best when his best was required. Now, you being a former coach for nearly half a decade as a linebackers coach for the Vikes, Jordan Addison skips a walkthrough and was benched the first quarter. What does that indicate to a team when a coach disciplines one of the very best players?
That enough's enough. You know what I'm saying? His suspension the first 3 weeks of the season cost this team quite a bit, and they made some moves. They did some things. It wasn't like a situation where Addison just wasn't there, and we just went on with you kind of go on with your life, almost like if you're missing a running back and you have a backup or whatever. It made this team do some things. It was a big deal. And I don't know exactly. I haven't heard exactly or officially exactly what went on, but it required that. It required a public. I don't want to call it. It's discipline. I don't want to call it I mean, obviously the entire world knew something was up because he wasn't playing. He didn't play the first quarter, and then he gets back in. So that's kind of like, I got to embarrass you a little bit. I have to do it. I have no choice but to, embarrass you here a little bit. And the thing with Jordan Addison, again, is how he responded. And that's why I have hope for him to be able to turn this thing around and just stay out of trouble, is what he did. And when he got out there, he made a difference. And obviously at the end of that game, he made a difference. And I guess you can look at that and have him say, well, that means I can just do something again, because when I go out there, I make things happen. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I really hope that he got the message. Listening to Justin Jefferson and his comments after the game, I mean, that just proves to you how much Justin has matured and how invested he is in being a leader on this team and taking a guy under your wing.
Pete, give me your best 45 seconds on our last question. Is Isaiah Rodgers just amazing? I mean, not only in calling when we call it live, but then watching it back. You should do an Eye in the Sky YouTube bit on him, and here's why. He rarely, if ever, is on the wrong side of a completion. What does the analyst think?
He's playing unbelievably well, and unless you're throwing, deep 7 routes to a 6'6" tight end, he's pretty much made every play that's come his way.
Right.
Yes, I agree with you. He's playing very, very well. Ball skills, meaning when the ball is the 50-50 balls and those things, he's always right there. I think Isaiah Rodgers, he's playing more consistently than Byron Murphy Jr. is right now. Not that Byron Murphy Jr. is not playing well. He's playing very well.
I got you.
It's just that Isaiah Rodgers is so steady. Man, he's playing very well.
Your best 15 seconds on this, your YouTube channel, Eye in the Sky, or Pete Bercich, Eye in the Sky. What is it, Pete Bercich 56? Is that like the tag? Okay.
Yeah, that's a tag.
Yep. So via YouTube, find that, because Pete does second to none film breakdowns of some off the beaten path Minnesota Vikings related situations. With the Eye in the Sky, does that return this week? You have anything up your sleeve?
That I have to figure out. I got to figure out what it's going to be. I think you just gave me a good idea, so I might just have myself a topic, and then next week it'll be. Next week I'll have one, definitely taking a deep dive on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Sweet. Thank you.
The Analyst.
All right. Thanks for the fun for the last week and a half. Appreciate you. And we'll talk next week. All right.
Yes.
Pete Bercich, analyst for the Vikings Audio Network, at Pete Bercich via X, if you would like to learn more. PJ Fleck, coach of the Golden Gophers football team, joins us weekly, and that'll be around the corner. And there will be a co-host for that who just walked into studio, young Parker. Parker Fox is going to be with us for a couple of segments, including with PJ, and that's next. Your home for Golden Gophers football, and we also welcome former Gophers basketball player Parker Fox into the equation, along with PJ Fleck, coach of the Golden Gophers football team. PJ, it's Paul Allen. This is our second conversation during the year because of Monday Night Football and European travel and everything. And man, I miss chatting with you on a weekly basis. And I'm sorry about Saturday. Have you ever been to Dublin or London? Because I bet you and Heather would love the action and diverse culture and the food options, man.
Well, it's good to have you back in the States, PA. So it's good to have you back. Good to have our conversations back. You know what? Heather and I have never been to Dublin, but we've been to London. We love London.
Yeah.
And we've been to Paris and been to Italy. And we absolutely love Europe. And one of the things I love about going out there is, it's just a completely different culture than America, as we know. But I think it makes you feel really, really small. And I love that piece. I think sometimes we get involved in our lives, we get caught up in our lives, and we think everybody's noticing and everybody's following, and that can put you in this little corner. And when you go overseas, I mean, besides the NFL, right, And a lot of people know the NFL, but a lot of people don't know college football over there as much. And so we love to go over for the soccer and for the culture, and really nobody knows really who you are. And you start to see life as in a global form. And I think it really kind of gives you perspective of your life and how big the world really is, and sometimes how insignificant like our issues and problems are. So, but love going over there, and it's all Brozer's been talking about this morning. He's actually over here in our building. The day off, he's over here.
That's awesome.
Talking ball with us.
That's awesome, and your answer was awesome too. I mean, authentic as usual. But my second question involved Max Brosmer, who I've gotten to know quite well over the last month and a half, and I absolutely adore. But the Ohio State game started at 12:30 in the morning London time, and I couldn't stay up for it. Old people got tired. But I sat by Max Brosmer on the bus to the stadium, Tottenham Hotspur, yesterday, and he was quite saddened over the loss. And man, he just really cares about your squad. But, you know, I know Ohio State ranked number one, bunch of draft picks to be all over the place. You guys just ran into a buzzsaw, didn't you?
Well, a few things. One, our players went in there. We had 2 penalties. We didn't turn the ball over. We only gave up 1 sack. When I went back to watch the film, PA, I wanted to see like, oh, we beat ourselves. Oh, we made this mistake. Oh, we blew that coverage. It wasn't that way.
Wow.
And there are times you walk into and you play a really good football team who plays exceptionally well that day. And Ohio State did. And unfortunately, their X was better than our O, and they played better than us that day. But the score makes it covers all the other stuff up.
Yep.
I mean, we had tight coverage in a few instances where they made a big play. There were times we just got beat in one-on-one coverage. There were times that, like I said, that we weren't able to make the play just man-to-man. Other than that, though, when you look at the discipline of our football team, you look at the culture of our football team, how hard they played, the last field goal block, you would have thought it was for the game. And our guys played incredibly hard all the way to the end. There are no moral victories. We just played a really good football team. We played really well. And again, I wanted to go into that saying, you know what? We beat ourselves. And I'm not going to insult their intelligence or insult their ability to be really, really good, because I'm not going to do that to them, because they deserve that type of credit. I mean, we got into a fight. They beat us up. We'll lick our wounds. We'll respond. We'll learn from it. But it wasn't like we played horrifically bad. We just couldn't do some things, and it happened to be that night for us, unfortunately.
Okay, PJ, so off that, when you say, quote, we got our butt kicked and we'll be better for it, end quote, my question would be, in what ways does one find serendipity from that Saturday night at the Horseshoe?
Well, it's iron sharpening iron. I mean, we played pretty disciplined football, but then you look at the fundamentals and the technique. Well, if we can do that fundamentals and technique every single week, but we can do it against competition that's not as good as Ohio State, then we're going to be really good as we keep moving forward. To be a great winner, PA, you got to learn how to lose. And you can hate losing, but you got to be good at losing. Because if you're really good at losing, you'll respond to all the information that comes your way. And you'll want to get back out there, and you'll want to be able to respond. We showed him the Pereira fight from UFC, the one back in March where he gets beat, and then the one he just beat the guy up with elbows in the first round after a minute and a half, and he got his title back. He could have wallowed in his self-pity, and he could have cried about it, could have pouted about it, could have blamed, complained, and deflected. But he learned how to lose when he didn't lose much. So he learned how to lose. He responded, got the fight in October, and went out there and beat him in the first minute and a half.
Reach.
So you don't have to like losing, nor should you like to lose if you're a competitor. But you got to be good at it, and you got to know how to be able to dissect all that information, peel back the onion, and get better at the core things you can get better at and control the controllable.
Love it.
Hey, Coach, Parker Fox here. You know, you always preach the importance of response within your program. What does this week look like leading up to an important homecoming Saturday night game?
Yeah, I mean, Purdue's a really good football team. They've played really 3 good Power 4 teams, so you can't measure the score, where at one point all 3 of those were ranked, and some of them still are ranked. So, we've got to play better than we did last week. but we got to take the information that came from Ohio State, right? The attention to detail, the discipline. We got to take the fundamentals and technique and really sharpen those things. And then we, as coaches, got to continue to put our players in the best position so they can be successful with the schemes and the game plans we put forth, whether that's special teams, offense, or defense, and then allow our players to play really fast. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Produce a really, really good football team who has a tremendous quarterback who's playing at a very high level. And typical Purdue, score a lot of points, score them often, and can be explosive at any point.
You know, one thing I greatly appreciate about you and your recruiting strategy is how your program is a life program. How important is homecoming to you and Row the Boat culture?
Well, I think it's everything. People make this world go round. People set up where we're going to be. We all need somebody to get to where we need to go. You know, we had 40 players here when we had our alumni homecoming week when we first got here. And that was very low. We're over 200 this weekend of former players, not just over our last 9 years, but we're talking about from the 2000s, we're talking about from the 90s and the 80s, and we're celebrating the 1960 national championship with Bobby Bell and have a lot of those guys back. And I think that the main thing of that is when I first got hired, Mark Coyle said, what are we missing here in Minnesota? I just said cultural sustainability. Whether that was me or he hired somebody else, that was my opinion in Minnesota. 7 head coaches in 14 years prior to us. Where when you're an alum, you have a hard time. You're grasping at straws because every time you grab the straw, that straw's gone. Then somebody leaves. So it's hard to have this connection personally with former players when the head coach and the culture is changing all the time. Well, now over 9 years, whether you played for us or not, you know what you're getting when you come back into the building. You know what you're getting when you come back to games. You know what you're getting when you come back for homecoming. And I think that attracts more and more people by the years.
PJ Fleck, coach of the Golden Gophers football team, 9 to noon. Homecoming at Huntington Bank Stadium is Saturday. Gophersports.com for information and or tickets. And, you know, one of many things I appreciate about you, PJ, on or off the microphone, if we're mixing it up, is you're not hyperbolic. I mean, there's an authentic nature to your responses, whether it's good or bad, that I greatly appreciate. And, you know, just last one on something you said after the Buckeyes game. When this resonated with me on that 9-hour flight from London last night. When you say Matt Patricia's defense is the best you've seen in 13 years, is it because they have NFL caliber players, or is it Matt mixing it up perfectly and in ways generally college coaches don't do?
It's both. It's both. I mean, after that first drive, PA, we didn't see it. We didn't see the same front at all. Never saw it again. And we'd see, well, I can't say never say it again. We never saw it like within that drive. I had never seen somebody mix it up as much as he mixed it up. And a lot of times some people are maybe afraid to do that because you want some consistency. And maybe you're looking at strengths of your team versus weaknesses of their team. I don't know if there's a weakness of that team. And that's why I said it, because one, they're incredibly deep. They have draft picks everywhere, offensive, defensively, and special teams. But the way they schemed it on defense and the way their scheme works with Patricia, it gives a lot of the NFL defense into college football. And you have to have, I think, the right personnel to do that. And he's got a great combination of both of them.
Yeah.
And that was a very, very difficult week to prepare. And then not only that, it was a very difficult week to respond as you're going through that game plan wise and adjustments, because you're adjusting the things that when you get to the next drive, you're not going to see it again. So you're somewhat preparing for ghosts, even with the iPads, even with the film. Now we knew we were getting man coverage. We just couldn't create enough separation when we were getting that man coverage. But proud of our team for only giving up 1 sack, didn't turn the ball over against that defense, and only had 1 penalty on offense. So, and you know, we didn't have any pre-snap. You know, when you look at a pre-snap penalty in that type of atmosphere, to do that, to have low amount of penalties is a credit to our preparation and the silent snap count and our guys really focusing and being disciplined.
Teaching is and always has been an A topic with you. So what positives moving forward can you get with the redshirt freshman quarterback Drake Lindsay, who obviously is important because he plays that position and he's good. His arm talent is terrific. But like a loss like that in an atmosphere like that moving forward for him, what can you teach?
It's donuts on a baseball bat, PA. I mean, that's really what it is. And the more donuts you can put on that bat, swing it as hard as you possibly can. When you get to other games, you're going to knock those donuts off and the bat's going to feel light. He's going to constantly get challenged and pushed. We don't treat him like a freshman. We don't treat him like a rookie quarterback. We run an NFL system on offense, and he's changing runs at the line of scrimmage, changing IDs, double calling plays, and he's handling himself at an elite level for what a freshman can do. And we're going to keep challenging him, and every week he's going to get better and better. Doesn't mean the productivity or the numbers will be better every single week, but what's going to say is the experience and the attention to detail and the growth that he's going to have in the run game, in the pass game, and the experience he's going to keep creating is going to continue to be notches on his belt. And that's what we want to continue to happen as we continue to move through our future with Drake Lindsey, because he is a special talent. We know that, and it's our job to keep developing that. And, him and Max are sitting in the offensive meeting room right now, just sitting in there, just sitting in the back on their iPads. I mean, it's just, Max set the groundwork of what preparation looks like, and I think Drake is taking it to another level here. And I think Max is here just because he doesn't want Drake to out-prepare him and look like that. Drake's out-preparing Max throughout Max's time here. But the relationship between those two is really special. I mean, we went to breakfast this morning at Al's right here on campus, and it's very unique for sure that the NFL quarterback of the hometown team is also from the university that's from there and has a great relationship with the quarterback that's actually playing for that team. So very unique situation.
Beautifully said, last one. And, in watching back your press conference on that flight last night, somebody hit you, think the guy's name might have been Andy, with, transfer portal, NIL, a Columbus, Dinkytown, all that. And you're like, it's a conversation for a different time, which it is here too. But I really felt it, because after you said that, I got into the Ohio State 2 and 3 deeps, and those receivers you said, who are going to be first round picks. Yeah, I mean, holy cow. Members of the offensive line, holy cow. But I got to see it firsthand yesterday at Tottenham Hotspur with this Quinshon Judkins, who I hadn't watched much of. And then in the joint practices against the Patriots with Travion Henderson. I mean, it's a different world in certain places. And, I'm not sure college football is doing itself any favors with the way the portal is skewing the game so that really only a handful to maybe a little more are starting to matter at a high level. You know what I mean?
Well, I know what you mean. And I answered Andy the way I felt, that it is a talk for a different day and is for a different time. In season is not the time to talk about it.
Right.
But, look at our right tackle. Our right tackle is at Ohio State. And, we're doing everything we can to solidify his replacement as we keep going forward. But that's part of college football. And if you're not willing to adapt, you're going to get left behind.
Yep.
We don't change that we're a life program, like Parker said. I'm never going to change that we're going to be a life program, because I get paid to win. We get paid to win. But I do the job because I love to teach. I love to educate. Sooner or later, wins will come and go, and there won't be enough wins to keep coaches. Every coach at some point doesn't make it, right? So whether that's NFL, whether that's college, but we're always going to be a life program. As we continue to look at how we can adapt to college football, we've always got to do what's great for the University of Minnesota and what's great for our players, and we'll continue to always do that. And we'll always look for finding ways to make it better every single week, and every single year. So you've got to be willing to adapt. And we're obviously willing to do that and have done that. But, they hand Ohio State, not speaking for them, they've done it at a level that suits them, and they can continue to adapt with the times like everybody else. And they've done it at a very, very high level, that's for sure.
Well stated. Thank you very much. Tear up Purdue, and we'll talk soon, okay?
I appreciate it. Row the boat, Sky, I'll go Gophers. Skol Vikes. Congratulations this week. See ya.
Yep. See ya, PJ. PJ Fleck, coach of the Golden Gophers football team. Great to have him weekly, each and every Monday, 9 to noon at about 10:45. Parker Fox at Parker Fox 24 via X. He sticks around for another segment, and we'll get into that around the corner on KFAN.